All right. Um, so now that I've made a new document in Flash, I can actually import to the stage, and I'm going to grab that my little jelly guy. Okay. And I'm just going to go OK on that. There he is. Okay. Now my guy is only like 51 pixels wide by 130 or so pixels high. So I'm going to change the size of my backdrop probably to being about, I don't know, 120 by 150, something like that. I'm going to move him into the middle.
Hey, Mr. Jellyman.
There he is. Now the big thing is you want to make sure that you get each of your either legs or arms onto separate layers. Because the way you want to think about it is, think of it like you've got a guy and you've got him on a bunch of different transparencies. Okay, if you have his body on one transparency and his legs on another, you can rotate the legs separate from the body, right? But those legs, if they have both legs on one layer, they have to move together. So if you want to move them separately, they each have to be on their own layer as well. Okay, does that make sense? So try to think of it as different layers of transparency. So I'm going to select my leg. Now, if you bring in your Illustrator file and it's not separate like that, you click on it and it selects the whole thing, you may have to double click and then select. Okay? It depends on how you made it in Illustrator. So I'm going to select the one leg and I'm going to cut, make a new layer, and now I'm going to choose paste in place. That'll paste it right back where it was. Okay? If you don't paste in place, it'll probably paste out middle of the screen, and then you have to move it where you want. Okay? Now I'm going to select my back leg, and I'm going to cut that, new layer, paste in place. Now notice my leg's in front of the body now. Alright? It's because body is at the very bottom. Now you got to think of layers, transparencies. The very bottom layer is going to show up on the bottom. So this is where it's important to label all my layers. So this is my back leg. This is my front leg. And I want my body to be right in between them. So I can just drag and drop it right in between. Okay? There we go. So now, what I need more frames. This animation is set to be 24 frames per second. If I push F5, then I can get as many frames as I like. That makes it I've got 1 second of animation now, 24 frames. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to animate my front leg first. Right click in the middle of the layer and click Create Motion Tween. If you get this message, just click OK. Alright? And now on this first frame, I'm going to have his legs start way out here, rotated up here. So I'm going to choose the transform tool, move my point of rotation right there, and then rotate to there. Okay? Then, probably about halfway, frame 12, right click, I'm going to insert rotation keyframe, rotate it back, And then finally, insert another one and rotate it forward again. So what that does, if I go to the beginning and push return, so picture each keyframe is a point. So I want it to go from there to there. Because it's a motion tween, it's going to animate all the frames in between. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same with my back leg. Create motion tween. Okay. I'm going to start with his whoop. That's what happens if you don't change your point of rotation. Okay. So I'm going to start with it rotated like that. Same frame as the other one. Rotate it like that. And then rotate back. There we go. And I can loop the playback. Now he's running.
There he goes.
Do you have to like make it so that there's one spot where Jack moves, like, or he just stays in place?
Yeah. You want that for sure, because you only want it to switch to this when he's moving. Absolutely. So now to bring him into GameMaker, I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to Export Movie. And the format you want is a PNG sequence. PNG preserves the transparency, so it cuts the background out. All right. And jelly walk. I'm going to call it right. I'd probably also put it inside of a folder. Export. All right. I'd also recommend you save this animation, because that way you can make some changes to it later on. If we open GameMaker now, it takes a little while. There we go. Let's just put this in a new. I'm going to create a sprite for it. SPR. R. Now, the way I found this works best is if I import the first one first. Alright. Then I go to Edit, click on this plus sign, and then I can import all the rest. Holding Shift, select all the rest of the ones, and it brings them all in. If I show the preview, there he is. Alright. And there we go. The next step I'm not going to show right now is basically when you're pushing your right keyboard, you want to have it change the sprite to this sprite, so that it switches to this sprite, which is an animated sprite.
I think you showed that already.
Okay. There we go. All right.